Previously, we uncovered the truth behind Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween 3rd. We discovered that Michael Myers wasn't simply born evil, he was the sole survivor of Project Samhain, a secret experiment hidden beneath Smith's Grove and funded by Silver Shamrock. But if that was only the beginning, then what happened after Michael disappeared may be even more terrifying. The tape recorder crackled back to life. For several seconds, there was only static, followed by the unmistakable voice of Dr. Samuel Loomis. If you've reached this recording, then you've already uncovered Project Samhain. A pause. You know what they did to Michael Myers beneath Smith's Grove. You know how Silver Shamrock secretly financed the research. And you know that Halloween night, 1978, was never supposed to happen. The investigators remained silent. Stacks of evidence surrounded them. Burned laboratory journals, hospital records, government correspondence. Every file they had uncovered beneath Smith's Grove confirmed one impossible truth. Michael Myers had never simply escaped. He had escaped from an experiment. Loomis continued, "But if you truly wish to understand what happened after Michael disappeared, you must stop asking why he came back. Instead, ask who they were waiting for." The tape ended. One of the investigators slowly pulled another storage crate from the shadows. Unlike the others, this one wasn't labeled Project Samhain. Across the lid, stamped in faded black ink, were 3 words: Phase 2. Archives. Inside were hundreds of files. Most had been destroyed by water and time. Only one remained perfectly preserved, a school photograph. A little girl smiled back at them. Jamie Lloyd. The investigator carefully turned it over. Typed across the back was a designation that sent a chill through the room. Subject 2. For years, the world believed Jamie Lloyd was simply Michael Myers' niece. Project Samhain believed something far more terrifying. Following Michael's disappearance in 1978, scientists became obsessed with a single question. If Michael Myers had become something beyond human, could that change spread? For 10 years, they secretly monitored Laurie Strode's life. When Jamie was born, the surveillance shifted. Every doctor's visit, psychological evaluation, school report, nightmare, and drawing was recorded. Nothing escaped their attention. Jamie wasn't being protected. She was being studied. Then came October 30th, 1988, exactly 10 years after Michael vanished. Haddonfield prepared for another Halloween. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, Michael Myers suddenly awakened from his coma. History tells us Michael set out to murder his last surviving family. The Samhain files tell another story. Within 48 hours of Michael awakening, encrypted messages were sent between former Project Samhain personnel across Illinois. Several retired researchers quietly returned to Haddonfield. One accepted a temporary position at the local hospital. Another met secretly with state officials. A third disappeared completely after arriving. The investigators began placing photographs across a corkboard. As each victim from Halloween 4 was added, another pattern slowly emerged. Many weren't random at all. They had direct or indirect connections to people who had once worked inside Project Samhain. Some had transported medical equipment. Others had authorized funding. Several had simply known too much. Michael wasn't following a hit list. He was following primal instinct. Like an animal returning to the place where it had once been trapped, Jamie was never the destination. She was simply the one person Project Samhain refused to lose. As the night unfolded, Michael came closer and closer to reclaiming her. Not because she was his niece, but because something inside him recognized her. Not as family, but as another subject. The investigators searched deeper, discovering transcripts from confidential meetings. One sentence appeared again and again. Subject 2 displays no signs of physical transformation. The scientists were disappointed. Jamie wasn't becoming another Michael Myers, yet something impossible was happening. She could sense him. She dreamed through his eyes. She knew where he was before anyone else. Project Samhain couldn't explain it. Then another file surfaced. This one didn't belong to the government. Its pages were ancient. Covered with strange symbols and handwritten passages, the cover read, "The Cult of Thorn." For decades, everyone believed Thorn created Michael Myers. The recovered files proved the opposite. The Cult of Thorn had spent years searching abandoned Samhain facilities after the laboratory beneath Smith's Grove was destroyed. There they recovered fragments of classified research, brain scans, behavioral studies, and psychological profiles. Without understanding modern science, the cult interpreted everything through ancient mythology. To them, Michael wasn't a patient. He was a chosen vessel. Project Samhain sought to explain evil. The Cult of Thorn sought to worship it. Both reached the same conclusion. Neither could control it. By 1989, the cult had begun manipulating events from behind the scenes. Using stolen research, they attempted to recreate the government's experiments. Jamie became their obsession, not because of prophecy, but because she represented the last living connection to Subject 1. As Jamie's visions intensified, the cult celebrated while Project Samhain panicked. Neither side understood what they were witnessing. The psychic bond wasn't magic, nor was it a curse. It was something far more disturbing. Years of observation, repeated evaluations, and shared trauma had altered her. Whatever happened inside Smith's Grove had created an unexplained neurological connection between Michael and Jamie. Neither science nor superstition possessed the language to explain it. By 1995, everything spiraled out of control. The cult believed they had finally succeeded. Michael had been captured, contained, and surrounded by rituals they believed would bind him forever. Hidden cameras secretly installed documented every second. They expected cooperation. Instead, they witnessed slaughter. Michael turned on everyone. Cult members, scientists, doctors, and researchers. No symbol stopped him. No ritual slowed him. No experiment explained him. One final Project Samhain report survived, containing only 12 words. Subject 1 remains completely beyond prediction, manipulation, or scientific understanding. 40 years, countless deaths, and billions of dollars had failed. The investigators looked around the archive. For the first time, they understood why Loomis had spent his life trying to destroy Project Samhain instead of simply hunting Michael. Michael wasn't the monster. The obsession with explaining him had become the real evil. As they closed the final folder, a photograph slipped onto the concrete floor. It was Laurie Strode, taken from a distance and dated 1998. Why had someone never stopped watching her?